Only focus on what's in your control. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. What is in your control and what is out of your control? Now only focus on what's in your control. Nothing else. Don't suffer imagined troubles. We suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. Don't let anxiety and worry get the best of you. Don't let your worries grow out of proportion to what might actually happen. Don't let imagination overtake reality. Just do one thing every day. Well-being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself. Zeno, pick a project you are either currently working on or wanting to get started. Constantly ask, is this necessary? Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Marcus Aurelius. There has never been a better time to go through your life and ask yourself about all the things you do and say and think. Speak with the dead. You can put yourself in the same room as Lincoln. You can chat with Shakespeare. You can be inspired by Einstein. To do this isn't scary. In fact, it's the opposite. Read for 30 minutes today and every day. Thank you for reading. If you found any value in this thread, please consider from famed Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius to the beloved United States President Teddy Roosevelt. Some of the most successful leaders throughout history have all shared something in common: a belief in Stoicism. This philosophy has become a time-honored one among leaders because its core tenets resonate deeply with the pursuit of excellence, greatness, and success. Motivated leaders latch onto Stoic principles as a way to guide themselves during both good times and bad. If you're rising the ranks and climbing the ladder, constantly seeking new leadership positions, chances are you have a passing familiarity with Stoic principles. It's time to take the next step in embracing them, learning them at face value. Here are the most important core principles of the Stoic leader and how they contribute to results that'll rank you among history's greatest stewards. You can't control the outcome of a situation, but you can control your perspective and perception of it. It seems obvious in hindsight, but Stoic leaders take care to not get caught up in their emotions when things don't go as planned. Letting negative feelings run away with them only makes Stoics less efficient and less effective. Instead, Stoic leaders observe their feelings and use them as a barometer to make informed, rational decisions. By understanding how they feel, they can accurately interpret circumstances and know when it's time to call on virtue for strength to meet the next hurdle. In other words, quit worrying about what could go wrong and start looking at how to make things right. You can't expect employees to meet expectations that are beyond what you're willing to do. Stoic leaders know that one of the greatest things about leadership is showing others how it's done by putting in the same level of effort. This is often where Stoic principles can be misunderstood, because Stoics don't seek praise or recognition. They simply embrace the call to action. They give their team and work to support them. They don't delegate tasks or assign work for the sake of working. Stoic leaders give direction because they know what's required to achieve results. You don't need to get down in the trenches with your employees, but they need to know that you will, without hesitation. No Stoic leader would ever consider themselves infallible. They know that their success is built on the shoulders of their employees, and all Stoics show gratitude for this support, rather than take it for granted. In addition to being grateful, Stoics don't spend a lot of time on self-promotion. They know that one of the best ways for their employees to feel supported is by putting down their own egos and celebrating the success of each member of the team. When Stoic leaders do promote themselves, it's because they're quick to take responsibility for a failure or miscommunication and make sure that everyone knows where the mistake happened. Stoicism is founded on the idea that happiness isn't found in the pursuit of external objects or circumstances, but in how people react and adapt in response to life's circumstances. This Stoic tenet rings particularly true when it comes to failure. Stoic leaders see falling down as a chance to learn and develop. They don't avoid failure, rather they embrace it as a chance to grow and learn from their mistakes. In Stoic philosophy, anxiety over the possibility of failure is what guarantees it will happen. Stoics see being hesitant to fall as the biggest form of complacency in achieving success. Instead, they're quick to see failures as opportunities to improve, knowing that the only thing worse than falling is never getting back up. When leaders fail to see where their employees are coming from, it can cost morale and create a rift in the workplace. It takes empathy to identify with differing opinions and perspectives, and to validate those who hold them. Stoics take the time to practice empathy, to ensure every member of their team feels valued and heard. By understanding where their employees are coming from, Stoic leaders know how to approach them constructively and avoid criticism. Instead of leaning into negativity and focusing on the problem, Stoics approach problems with positive intent, seeking a resolution that empowers people instead of chiding them. Good Stoic leaders know that mistakes will always happen, but it's how they deal with those mistakes that demonstrates good leadership. No one is perfect. Good leaders understand that blaming others for a problem is a great way to avoid taking responsibility for it. Rather than point fingers and throw people under the bus, Stoic leaders take all the blame upon themselves. By taking the fall, even top-level executive leaders ensure every member of their team feels supported, that they can take risks without fearing criticism or repercussion. These individuals know that success is about more than getting it right. It's also about being able to recover when you get it wrong. Stoic leadership means taking responsibility for mistakes even when they aren't necessarily your fault. Hold yourself accountable and you'll earn the respect of those you lead. Stoicism is a never-ending strive to be better. It's not enough to wake up and understand these Stoic principles. You need to put them to work each and every day and truly live by them. As you do, you'll shape yourself as a leader that people want to follow and cement your legacy as another great leader who followed the path of Stoicism. The 7 Stoic principles and practices covered in this course will center on mental strength and virtue. I will share teachings from several of the founding fathers of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius Seneca and Epictetus, that have helped me strengthen my willpower in pursuit of the various goals I have had for myself over my life. Don't suffer imagined troubles. Seek out challenges, be teachable. Consider timing and appreciate the present. Guard your time. Consider the quality of your thoughts. Amor fati. Wanted to thank you again, John, for teaching this class. I just came back to look over my assignment. I posted 3 months ago and reflected on my words. It reminded me of positive strengths I have, and that the things I am struggling with today are temporary. I plan on re-watching your video to fully digest your messages on Stoicism again, because I can tell it helped me a lot then as well. In times of great uncertainty, the ability to keep calm isn't an unnecessary luxury. The ancient Stoics didn't shy away from adversity, but instead managed to endure while continuing their pathways of virtue. We only have to peek into the memoirs of ancient Stoic Marcus Aurelius, published as Meditations, to see how he struggled to perform his duty without losing his mind and without falling for the seductive trap of indulging in sensual pleasures as many other emperors did. His own son included. Misery is rooted in fear, an emotion that characterizes periods of unrest. It's the cradle of hate and violence, of hostility and oppression. And the more this emotion spreads around the globe, infecting us all like a virus, the more we suffer. The power of Stoicism lies not in changing our circumstances, but fortifying ourselves so we can deal with our circumstances, no matter how severe. In Stoicism, we can find the necessary wisdom to become more resilient, not only to maintain our inner peace, but to also thrive and shine in times of uncertainty. Stoics and Buddhists will agree that in regards to the human experience, there's nothing that precedes the mind. Even though we may feel that it's the external world that upsets us, it's actually the way we think about the world that does the job. Outside circumstances may directly influence our ideas and presuppositions, or trigger what lies hidden in the subconscious mind, like deeply rooted beliefs or, perhaps, repressed past experiences. So, it's still the mind that creates the experience. For example, we believe that we shouldn't face hardships like disease or financial setbacks, or that we shouldn't suffer a loss, in whatever form that may be. Unfortunately, this means that we're still in denial of the reality of nature. Unpleasant events happen to all of us, and no one has the right to be excluded from the universal ways of change. Now, according to the Stoics, we have a choice. The flow of life, the aging of our bodies, illness, war, disease, are not ours to control. Stoicism emphasizes that despite of this, we do have agency. We can form opinions, we can judge, we can act. For example, we can lose the opinion that only good should overcome us and accept that even the most catastrophic events of humanity may very well appear on our path. From a Stoic point of view, this shouldn't be a source of fear, but an opportunity to accept reality and stop resisting the inevitable. This alone leads to inner peace. It's a matter of embracing whatever happens and knowing that not the events but our own experience is what causes how we feel. Like most creatures on Earth, we humans have a limited view of how life unfolds. For a great part, this limited view decides how we experience the world. Take, for example, a mayfly. This little creature is born and dies on the same day. This creature doesn't know about the night, doesn't know about seasons, doesn't know about years and decades. Its vision of the world is very narrow, meaning that things it encounters as once-in-a-lifetime experiences are mere daily occurrences for us. The universe shows itself to us in cycles and waves, and unless we live through at least one cycle or wave, what happens to us seems unprecedented. But looking at history, we see that most events that disturb us and frighten us have already happened before. They just haven't happened in our lifetime, so they come across as if they've never occurred before. Wars, pandemics, natural disasters, but also tribes threatening to attack each other, the conservative versus progressive-minded people. These struggles often interfere with our inner peace, but we only have to read some old newspapers to discover that these are archetypical expressions of